I'll be honest with y'all, I've been procrastinating something. For the longest time ever, I'd been waiting for some magical perfect idea to appear in my head. I would then masterfully execute that idea, making the most perfect video to ever exist. But instead, I sat there and did nothing. And to be honest, I wasn't planning on doing anything either. Why? Because we've all been sold the same idea. If it isn't going to be perfect, then why even start? And with me being the unemployed doom scroller I am, social media only makes the pressure to be perfect even greater. So upon thinking about starting something new, my brain often reinforces the thoughts. If it isn't going to be perfect, then why even start? I mean, look at what's out there. How could I ever compete with that? This simple reasoning is what held me back from trying something new for the longest time ever. Then this becomes personal, where you believe it isn't even worth trying unless you know you can guarantee success. As kids, it didn't matter how much you failed. You wanted to ride a bike, so you fell as many times as necessary until you learned it. But now, as I've gotten older, it almost feels like I'm stuck with what I learned as a kid, because trying something new meant three things. I would have to spend time, I would have to get uncomfortable, and I would have to fail. Those aren't appealing to me. And since those are necessary to progress and get better, this self-imposed limitation of perfection has held me back from even starting. That was until I saw this. A 6-year-old kid trying to shoot a basket on a 10-foot rim. Now I sat there looking at her and I thought to myself, you can't even reach. Why would you even try shooting on that? Why not go to a little kiddie hoop and shoot there instead? I essentially told the kid to give up. You'll never make it, because that is what I thought myself. And it's true, the kid never made a single basket, but it wasn't about scoring. You see, the kid didn't wait until she grew older and gained the strength to be able to score. She simply wanted to do it. So she went out and did it. And despite not being able to score, she probably had a great time trying. If that were me, I would have given up just by looking at the net. And I would have went and tried something I thought I was better at. I would be too worried about others judging me or viewing me as incompetent. But I bet you that kid went home and told her parents about how close she was to getting the ball in with the biggest smile on her face. Despite my standing there and so obviously judging her, despite the fact that the odds were so against her scoring, she kept trying and trying, and even after failing, she walked out of there like she won. And that's when I understood it. It doesn't have to be perfect to start. It was at that moment I decided to undertake a challenge of my own. You know that thing I said I was procrastinating in the beginning? Yeah, it's this video, the one you're watching. I'm somewhat of a perfectionist. I want everything I do to be the best it can possibly be. But upon looking at the bar that is set by others, I grew overwhelmed by the massive gap in quality and knowledge between them and me. And this only resulted in me making excuses for even starting. I researched more, waited longer, and inevitably just delayed it longer. Until now, I decided to quit being a bum and make this entire video in one day. That's right, I'm going to make it all right now, because no matter how much I try to research and get better, none of that matters without execution. Why? Because you can't improve what doesn't exist. It doesn't have to be perfect to start. So just put it out there and make it better later. Most people begin by looking at the results others have achieved, expecting things to change overnight, but that's just not the case. They don't see the work that's gone behind it. Look at Kobe Bryant, for example. At 12 years old, he scored 0 points throughout a summer league. There are kids with full mixtapes at the age of 12, and he didn't even get a single bucket. But we're not talking about those kids' mixtapes, are we? The work, the dedication, the ethic, that's what made him who he was. Nobody ever starts great, but to be great, you have to start. And it is the act of starting that is the most important. It will take years of ugly reps and failure before you even get remotely close to being good, let alone perfect. But the fact that you took a single step to begin your ascent is proof that despite not being the best, you'll still try. And by continuing to walk down this path, you'll soon understand that it was only worth it because of your flaws and because you had to endure. It's because your journey wasn't effortless, and because of all the pain and struggle you had to endure, you'll truly get to enjoy the reward at the end. Because if everything were perfect, what would even be the point? Seriously, think about it. What would be the point if everybody had the perfect face, perfect body, perfect job, perfect soul? We wouldn't even be human anymore. To be human is to be imperfect. There's beauty in the struggle. And the fact that something is missing is what drives us to do the things that we do. The fact that we have potential to achieve, to create, to persevere, to understand, to learn. to push forward and make change, to try to become the perfect versions of ourselves, even if it's a mere illusion. So maybe it's because we aren't perfect, we have purpose. We have the vision and drive to get out there and do something to try to fill that emptiness. Maybe it's a blessing not to be perfect. Maybe there's a beauty in shooting the ball knowing you'll never get it in, because even if you miss, you'll get the rebound and you'll get a chance to try again. After all, doing something is better than doing nothing. So what are you waiting for? It's never going to be perfect, so you might as well shoot that shot you've always wanted to, no matter how impossible it seems to make, because it may need to be perfect to score, but you don't have to be to try.